Lesson 16.2 is finding center and radius from an equation, but this time it's in a different form called general form. What we did on the first lesson was conic form or standard form, and that had parentheses. Now you can see that we have no parentheses. It's just going to be something x squared plus something y squared plus something x plus something y plus some kind of constant equaling 0. You have to do what's called completing the square to get it to look like what we had before. And I find this process kind of fun because once you do it a couple times, it's pretty simple. So what you're going to do is rearrange these terms. We want to put our x squared and then our x term, one right after the other. And then what I want you to do is put plus blank. Okay, now I want to do the same thing with the y's. Let me switch colors here. Unfortunately, all I have is red and green, so it looks Christmassy. But I'm going to do plus y squared minus 6y, put plus blank. Then put your equal sign. You want to move your constant, the negative 15, to the other side. So really you're adding 15 to make it positive. But then what I want you to do is put plus blank. So whatever I put in this blank is actually going to go here as well to balance it. And then put another plus blank. Whatever goes in this blank is also going to go here to balance it. Because whatever I add to one side of an equation, I have to keep it the same by doing it to the other side. So basically what I'm trying to do is find this magic number here that's going to complete this square that can be factored after that. And how you always find that number is you take the b term, which is the term that has just x or just y. You take that term and you divide by 2, always. That gets negative 1 and then you square it. So you divide by 2 and square it. That squaring will always make it positive. So negative 1 squared is really 1. So I'm going to add 1 to this side as well. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing with my y term. Gets divided by 2. Square it. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay, now I should be ready to factor. So this is a basic trinomial that meant that something foiled or multiplied with something else. First times first had to get x squared, so that's x times x. Then I go to the last. The last terms had to multiply to get 1. So that's either 1 times 1 or negative 1 times negative 1. Well, it had to add to make negative 2. So that'd be x minus 1 and x minus 1. So if you wanted to come over to the side, you could FOIL that real quick. You'd get x squared. You'd get a minus x and a minus x. And then negative 1 times negative 1 is plus 1. That makes negative 2x plus 1. So see how that matches that? Then what they want us to do is write that to the second power because I have this times itself. And now this is starting to look like the first lesson where I had x plus or minus a number, quantity squared. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the y's. So I'm going to do plus here. Factoring. So y times y to get y squared, you need a number times itself to make 9, multiply to make 9, the adds to make negative 6. It's going to have to both be negative 3's. So I'm going to write that as y minus 3, quantity squared. And then I simplify this side. 15 plus 1, or really 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 15 is 25. And then it wants us to find the center and the radius. So my center gets pulled out from these numbers, so it's just 1 comma 3. The radius is the square root of this number, which should be 5. All right, let's try number 2, see if we can go a little faster. Step 1, get your x squared and your x term in order. So it'll go x squared minus 18x. Put plus blank because we'll have to figure out a number that goes in there. Then do the same thing with your y's. So plus y squared plus 10y plus blank equals, move your 25 over, so now you're subtracting it, it's negative. Put plus blank. Do not forget that step. Okay, take your b term, divide by 2, and square it. That's 81. Add 81 both sides. Take your 10, divided by 2, and square it. 25 gets added to both sides. Now you're ready to factor. So what number times itself makes 81? So really I get to where I just know it's something times itself. What multiplies times itself to make 81 and adds to make negative 18? Be x minus 9 times x minus 9. Okay, and then for your y's, everything's positive. So your factors will be positive. What two numbers multiply to make 25 and add to make 10? That's 5 and 5. And then on this side, this and this cancel, so we just have 81. So from here, I can pick out the center is 9, negative 5, and then the square root of 81, the radius is 9.